Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Destiny from DeskFix and welcome back to another video in the channel where we will be building a blog application using Django and React JS. In this one, we'll get started fetching posts via the API and displaying it onto the front end. That is what we'll be doing. Hopefully you will enjoy the video and learn something new. So let's get started. Now I want you to begin by opening up your code editor. And right now this is what we have for the index.js. So we'll be performing a couple of operations over here. Now, the very first thing we should do is import some things. So I will import API instance from useeffect. I will also import moment. Moment is from, let me import toast. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it for moment. And let's also import use user data. So import use user. I actually don't really use user data for now. So let's not import that. Now down here, I will start off by creating a state that will hold an array of posts. So I'm going to say const posts and also set posts. And this should be equal to the use state that holds an array. Okay. So that is it. I also need another one which will hold categories. So I need category and also set category. And this should be a use state that also holds an array. So if you're an intermediate React JS developer, I believe you should already know how use state works and what they pretty much do. They are just like a container that you can use to store different types of data. So think of it like a big black box where you can put different types of toy. And I want you to think of this post over here as a specific tool that helps you access what you have put inside the box, which is use state. And I want you to think of set post as a specific tool that helps you add new toys into that black box, into the big black box, in our case, which is use state. So in case you don't understand, let me reiterate again and explain so that you better understand. Now, I want you to think of use state as a box that holds a toy or that holds some toys for you. Now, when it's initialized like this, that means firstly, we don't have any toy in here, which means this toy over here is going to be blank, right? Now, I want you to think of this post as pretty much a tool that helps you get toy out of this box, or that helps you access toys that are in this box somewhere else, maybe out of the box. In that case, you can use this post to grab whatever was stored in here and display it somewhere here in the template. And I want you to think of this set post here as a tool that helps you add data into this toy box. So it helps you add new toys into the toy box, or update a toy, or remove a toy. Pretty much do whatever you want by affecting the toys in there. And this post over here takes the toy out of the box. I hope that makes sense. So that is pretty much it. Now that we have these two things, let's go ahead and create a function that will fetch posts. So I'm going to call this one fetch posts. And I want to make it an async function. And a couple of things comes in hand when you make it an async function. That means you could do things like use a try catch and await the API call that you will be making. So I could say const response, and I want to set this to, I want to make API instance dot get, and I want to make a call to the post list. So posts dash lists dash. In case you're asking, hey Destiny, where do we actually get this post list from? In that case, I want you to go back to the URLs py, and you can see it over here. Can you see? So whenever you make a call to this API, do you remember that it gave us all the posts? It gave all the posts back to us. So that is it. Now, when the post gets returned, you can see that in that API, let me open it up so you see. you see that over here, we are returning all that post that has been fetched, that has the status of active, back to the front end. So as soon as you get the data, then I want you to set post. Remember I said set post is used to add informations into the toy box. Do you remember that? That is what we want to do now. We want to add information into the use state. So I'll say set post, and I'm going to set response.data. So there is something else I would want you guys to know. Hopefully you already know that there are different types of data, integer, string, boolean, and a lot of them. So now if this state over here is set to accept only strings, you appending an array into it or appending something else into it is not really advisable. So let me explain what that means. So imagine that you have this toy box, and now the type of toys that should be stored in here should be Lego. Okay, so now that means only Lego type of toys can be stored in there, right? Which we will be able to go in here. So imagine that someone now wants to add some other types of toy into this box. Is it going to accept it? No, it won't. So I hope you understand what's going on. Now we want only Lego type of toys to come into this box here, and it's going to check it as yes, green. Good, everything went well. Then imagine that somebody from somewhere wants to now add some type of toys to your box that does not accept Lego. Let's say that I want to add something else in here. What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to accept it? No, it won't, because it has already been set to accept only Lego. That's how it is for state. If you have set or initialized this with an empty array, it's highly recommended that you stick to appending array data that are returned in array to the state. If you have set it to empty string, then you should still stick to appending strings into it. If you have set it to integer, boolean, or whatever you want to pass in there, then it's highly recommended you should pass in the same data or set the same data to the state as what you've initialized it with. I hope that makes sense. So we return back to array, and over here we set this. Simple as that. Now, for now, that is pretty much everything that I want to do. You can also go ahead and fetch the category. So you could create a new function to do that. If you don't want to create a new function, you could still run the same function down here. You could call this one response underscore category, whereas you could call this one response underscore posts. Okay, then you can now take this and say response post dot data. You append that, and this one is going to be response category dot data, and make sure you are setting the category instead. And also do not forget to change the endpoints. So this is the endpoints for the category. Okay, so we change this to this. All good. So when you have all this now, it's highly recommended also that you log error. So in case you're getting an error, you will know, okay, that's what's going on, but this is what's going on. All right. Now let's go ahead and use the use effect hook to actually call the functions that we have just created, which is fetch post. Now I know it's called fetch post, but we actually fetched some other things like category, but I guess we could work with that. You can rename it if you want. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, and can you see that over here in the API it's beginning to fetch post, even though our API looks a little bit weird and compressed. Let me actually open that. Let me unsplit this terminal. I think I have an issue here with this terminal. Let me go ahead and run python manage py run server. Okay, there you go. There you go. Good. So you can see that as soon as we used use effect hook to call the fetch post, it's fetched the informations. In case you didn't see that, let me do it again so that you can see. Can you see it's fetched category and it's fetched post list? It's returned 200, which means everything went well. So in case you haven't understood use effect in the past, let me explain it for you so that you better understand what it does. So now I want you to imagine that you have a car, and as soon as you turn on your car, you want it to actually perform some operations. You want it to do some things. So let's say that as soon as you turn on your car, you want it to have some light beneath the car, maybe an RGB light or something, or maybe as soon as you turn on the car, you want it to start playing a particular type of music. That is where useeffect comes to play. So you might say something, hey useeffect, as soon as I open up my car and get into it and shut the door, I want you to immediately play a song for me. So in here or somewhere else, you have a function or something that you have written that is going to play a song. Useeffect will be a tool or a friend that then carries out this action for you. It's just like this function that we wrote over here. We have already written this function that is going to fetch post and category, right? Useeffect's job is to take this function and actually execute it for us and help us make it to work. Okay? And you see this empty dependency array over here. It's pretty much like telling this useeffect over here, after you've played the song only once, do not repeat it, play it just once. Okay? So you send or you add this dependency array, this empty one. So you add it over here. Play only once. That is what this is. Now, depending on how many times you want to play the song in the car, you can go ahead and manipulate this dependency array to perform operations that you want. I hope this is clear and I hope it's understandable. So that is pretty much it for fetching post. As you can see, they are both working as expected. Now, what we can do is go ahead and then list out the post, I think. So over here, we can go ahead and list out the posts here, like 7 common mistakes and all these things. So I will get down here and collapse this. So let's start collapsing from here. Collapse this, 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 and then remove all this till we have 1. Good. So now I want you to take this out and I want you to map through the array. So I want you to say posts dot map, and I'm going to say posts over here. And we paste the code that we've copied in here. So you see, so this is post.map with a parameter called post. Now you need to pass in a key so that you don't have an issue. And I like saying post.id. So there are a lot of ways that you could use to do this. If you want, you could pass in an index in here, which gets the count of all the items in the array. Then instead of saying post.id, you can put this in here. But I actually like doing it this way because it helps me name the key of the item in the loop, the same ID of the object. I hope that makes sense. So with this now, if you open this up, why do we still have just one? Does that mean that we have only one item in the database? Well, let's go ahead and check that out. Maybe we do. So I'm trying to log into my site, come over to post, and there you go. We have just one post over here with some title. So how about we quickly create a new blog post and we'll say something like build a blog app using Django and React JS. Good, right? So you can also go ahead and change that up for the slug. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to automatically create slugs. You can see that I'm manually doing this right now, which isn't the most efficient way to go about this. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this in the admin. Okay, so we open up the admin. I'm searching for the admin. It seems to be loading up a little bit. Let me just scroll all the way to the API and open up the admin, which is this one. So if you're going to be automatically pre-filling the slug for the post, then you actually want to extend this particular admin that we have created now, which means you want to create its own, let's say its own class for it. So let's say class post admin. This should inherit from admin.model admin. And what we need to do over here is, I'm not passing anything much, but pre-populated field. So pre-populated field should be equal to slug. Then we call the title in an array, just like this title. Okay, so let's see what is going on. Slug like this, and oh, I think we don't have the closing. We don't have this to close up the class. Let's see. There you go. That's working now. So I'm gonna reload my page. Make sure you copy your title if you don't want to have to type that out. And let's see. Is this working as expected? It isn't. So what's going on? Let's check out the, oh, my bad. That's my issue. You need to go ahead and add that alongside the post over here to actually activate it. Okay. So now when you reload your page again and you put this, okay, it still seems not to be working. So what is going on? Let's see what's happening. You know what I will do? I will open up the post model just to be sure. It has a title over here and it has a slug field. Okay, that is good. Let me rerun my server again. That is supposed to work. Okay, so after adding all this, I'll get back here and reload this page. And now if you start typing, it's not going to work. Let's create a new post. Then from now on, it will be working as expected. So Destiny, profile Destiny, category health, title, build a blog app using Django, React, JS. Still put the same thing over here for the description. All right, just marking the description. And for the image, let's select something. All right, so I'm going to select the picture from here. Status active, views that. I think we're okay with this. So now we have two posts showing up here. This one is some title. So instead of some title, let's say something like introduction to React JS. So React, just like that, I think it's enough. And we can also select another image. So let me select, I think this one's our videos. Let me just select one of this and save. So right now, let's reload our page. Can you see we now have two posts showing up over here? Good. So get back to your index.jsx and let's change up a couple of things, starting with the title. So instead of this title, we should have post.title. Then see, that's changed. And instead of this, instead of having this over here, we should go to /post.slug. Okay. So now whenever you click on this, it will open this page up for you. That is very, very good. So now let's change up the image also. So instead of this image over here that I got from Google, let's say post.image. Let's see. Was it actually called image? So that's something that we need to know. I'm going to open up the post model and let's see what we called it. Yep, we actually called it image. But we need to confirm that images are actually working as expected. And to confirm that, let's open up one of the posts we have created in the past and open up one of its images. And there you go. See, see, images are not working. See, it says page not found for image. So the very first thing we need to know or check is, was this image actually uploaded? So let's check. Come over to media image. And you can see is GIF, the one that has 7E7E7E. I think it was actually uploaded, which is it over here. So the only problem that we have is accessing the image. That is the problem that we have right now. And most of the time, let's check out the main URL backend. All right, there you go. That's the issue. We don't have any media handlers over here. Let's also check the settings PY. Do we have media handlers here? Yep, we have media handlers here, but we don't have it for the main URL. So we can actually get it from the main URL. Let me quickly come over to the backend. So if you don't want to have to type all this out, I already have it for you. Just, I think it's 2 lines of code. You could go ahead and quickly grab it and put it where you want. So it's in backend URLs PY. This is it down here. So take this to and we put it here. So we need to import static. Okay, it's already imported. So static and this already imported, all good. So now see, when we reload, the image show up. So that means if you get back here and reload this page, your image should now show up. Good. So that is working as I expect. Now, the next thing will be to go ahead and change up things like the name, the date it was posted, and things like that. So to change up the name, I'm gonna hop back to the index, and let me collapse this a little bit. You can even collapse this too. And the font seems too big. I don't know if that's okay by you, but let's keep going. So for the name, where is the name? This is the name over here. So what we could do is say post.profile.full_name. And please, I want you to add this question mark dot to actually check if post exists, get profile. If profile exists, get full name. And if none of this exists, then we show destiny. So let's go ahead and check this out. All right, see, destiny. Now for the date, instead of this, you could just go ahead and call, remember that you imported moment, right? So what you could just do is go ahead and call moment. Remember we imported that. Then you could pass in post.date. Let's see. See, 10th May 2024. That is really good. So this is what I was trying to explain to you guys. Instead of writing long codes, you just do this and it performs the operation for us. And also for the views, p.views should do. So for this one, instead of this, just say p.views, post.views, post.view. There you go. 1 view, 0 views. All right, this is okay. I think we're done with this. Let's do the same thing for the category and still the same listing of items. I will come back to work on the pagination, okay? So this is my category here. Let me select all this and come over to the top. See, I have just one remaining. So I will get rid of this to leave us with just one. Now, just like we've been doing, I want you to copy this and loop through. So say category.map, then I'm going to pass in C. Good. So now you should see 2 categories showing up. There you go, this and this. It's highly recommended that you add more categories so it's filled this up, okay? So if I get back here to my categories, I just have finance and health. So I can add things like sports, and choose a file for that. For now, I will just be choosing anything, okay? So I will just choose anything, okay? And entertainment. I want to choose something different. Let me choose this one. What else? Let me say lifestyle, and let's look for something cool. I'm gonna choose the banana image. And what else should we add? Health, finance, let's say technology. Then let's look for an icon for this. I guess we could go with this one, right? Is that an image? It's a JPG file, so we could go with that. Save. Oh, I think technology already exists. So let's look for something else. Let's say culture, and select something. Let me see this and save. Good. So now when we come back here and reload this page, there you go. So you see all these categories that we have. And now let's go ahead and change up the images because I don't really want the static image. I will say c.image. And there you go. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The lifestyle, let me change the name so I know what the actual names are. So over here, I will say c.title. Okay. But I think we are missing the name for 1. And also for the post count, just say c.post_count or 0 if no count exists for the post. Okay, so you can see health shows 1, finance shows 1, others shows 0. Good. I don't think we have any category image for finance and health. So let's select category images for them. This is finance. Yeah, the money image makes sense for finance and health. Let's see. what we can get for health. Let's put that one. Maybe the person is thinking about their health or something. Yeah. We're just adding anything for now. Okay. So this is what we have. Good. So we have the post. We have this one. Now for the latest articles, this one is totally up to you guys how you want this to happen. You can write custom queries that filter latest articles by dates. You can write that filters by popular, that filters by, and it's actually very simple. So let me give you an idea. Let me open up the API again. And this is the post list API view, right? So if you want to filter by most popular, just do order by, then views. Okay. If you want to filter by dates, just do order by minus date, which is the most latest. If you want to do by trending or popular, it should be view. Hopefully you get the idea. So that's just it. Then you can create different APIs for it and pretty much call them in the front end. So for now, you get the idea. This is working. This also is working. Let me work on the pagination right now, or should we push that to the next video? Maybe we can push that to the next video, but it's not actually really long. So I guess we should just work with that right now. So scroll all the way to the top in the index JSX. And where's the best place to do that? Let me do that down here. So how many items do I want to show per page? Items per page should be equal to 4. And I need a way to keep track of what the current page is. So const current page, and also set current page. This should be a use state of 1. Okay. Now I need to get the index of the last item by pretty much multiplying the current page by the items per page. So how do we do that? Const index of last item, index of last item should be equal to current page multiplied by items.page. Items page. Okay, so when you multiply the current page, which is 1, times the items page, which is 4, then you get the index of the last item. And what do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and get the index of the first item. So const index of first item should be equal to the index of last item minus the items per page. So think about it. So current page times items per page will give you 4. Then index of last item, which is 4, minus the items page, which is 4, will return 0. That means for now, we don't actually have any posts that we'll be redirecting to in another page, because we want to show at least 4 posts over here and we have only 1. I don't know if that makes sense. But don't worry, let's keep going. We still have a couple of things to do. Let me say const post items should be equal to. Now we need to go ahead, slice the post by saying posts dot slice, and we just need to pass in the index of first item, slice it by the index of last item. Hopefully you know what the slice does. What it pretty much do is, let's say we have a name, Destiny, and we slice this name by 0 and 4. What will it get us? It will then get us DEST. I hope you understand. So what we are doing now is slicing the index of the first item by the index of the last item, which is 4. Okay? Then after we've done that, we now need to go ahead and divide the length of the posts by the items per page. I know it might actually get a little bit complex, but don't worry, just follow along with the code. After we've written this one, we'll not have to write it again. We'll just reuse the code, okay? So total pages should now be equal to math.sale. So what I want to do is posts.length right, divide by items per page. Good. And now for the final one, let's go ahead and say page numbers should be equal to array, should be equal to array dot from, and then what do we add in here? I will say length should be the total pages. Don't worry, I will explain all this, okay? Let me say underscore and index because I don't have anything to pass in here. So underscore and index. And then what do we want to say here? I will say index plus 1. All right, let me explain what's going on here. But before I do that, let me go ahead and actually show you guys how this is going to work. So back to this place where we have the pagination, which is this guy over here. For the previous, what do we want to do? So this li over here, we'll manipulate the class name a little bit. I'll firstly wrap it in braces and also open up backtick, and I'll say page item. Then I want to pass in something. I want to say current page, if it's equal to 1. So if current page is equal to 1, what do I want to do? I want to go ahead and pass in disabled as a class name. Else, I want to remove the disabled. So this is actually quite simple. For this now, you can see that immediately the previous button is now disabled. You can see we can't click on anything because we have just 2 posts over here. I don't know if that makes sense. So for the button over here, we need to actually change the on click of the button. So on click of this button, what do you want to do? Let's set the current page. So set current page to what? I want to set it to current page minus 1. So that means if we're on another page and we press previous, minus 1 from the current page, which means it takes us back to the previous page. Okay? So that is it for this one. Now let's work with this other one over here. Actually, this is almost the same thing for the next. So we could just do the same thing immediately for the next, which is this one here. And I'll just get rid of this. And if current page is equal to total pages, pass disabled, else we leave it as that. And also the on click should be updated. So on click should be here. But instead of minusing, we add 1 so that we can go to the next page. And I want you to remove this number 2 over here. Okay? Just stick with 1. Stick with 1. So we need to loop through this li to dynamically show the numbers of pages that we have. So I will say page numbers dot map, and I want to pass a number over here. Then wrap it up with this. So you should still see only 1 because we just have 1 of this, okay? But if you go ahead and change the number of posts per page to 1, then let me show you. Can you see 1 appears, which means we can now go to the next one. And can you see that as soon as we press the next button, it now gets disabled. We can't even touch anything over here. Then this one gets activated. See, but when you press this, see, it immediately gets disabled, which means it's working. Okay. So the only thing we need to do is change this button up. Instead of showing the static 1 over here, we want to actually dynamically show the number. Then you can see 1 and 2. Perfect. So when we have all that, that's pretty much what we want. So the other thing is to run the same function here. Go. All right. So what we just need to check is if current page is equal to number. So if current page is equal to number, I want it to be active. Else, it shouldn't be active. Okay. Then I think that should be it. So can you see now it's active? When you go to the next one, can you see 2 is now active? When you come over here, 1 is active. That is pretty cool, I would say. Let me pass in text white so that the text that's in there stays as white. All right, that is not actually becoming white. Don't worry, we'll look into that later. Um, you can actually do that text white thing in here, but don't worry, that's not a problem. Since we have the functionality working, we can work on that later. All we just need to do now is change the on click. So you could take one of those on clicks over here and bring it into this button here, and on click of this set current page, we want to set it to number. All good. So now let's try this out. So as soon as you click on this, we come to the second page. As soon as you click on this, we go to the first one. This and this are also working. That's perfect. But why isn't it updating the post? That is quite abnormal. What do we want to do? So instead of listing the post through posts, I want you to list it through post items, which is the one that we have sliced here. See, post items, which we have sliced. So now you should see only one. When you click on next, you see the next one. When you click here, you see the first one. You can also click here, you see the next one. That is pretty much it. Everything is working perfectly well as expected for the pagination. If there is something that you don't understand, drop it in the comment section below and I will do my possible best to reply you. You can also shoot a mail to desvis@gmail.com in case I don't see your comments and it's critical. You can shoot a mail to desvis@gmail.com and I'll be very happy to help you out. And also consider dropping a like on the video, dropping a sub on the channel. That will really mean the world to me and it will help us grow together. Also consider checking out nextblog.app to get free to use templates and components to build your project even faster and efficiently. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, mad love, peace out.